as
Okay.
always is the case. And we're live. Oh my gosh, you guys, I'm so excited. Let me just make sure I'm refreshing a little bit. Refreshing. We're live. FYI, for all you business owners that like to stream into your Facebook group, I found a way with Zoom. So I'm gonna try to be making I'm gonna try to make a video on how to do that for everyone, but I'm so excited. All right. And I see the comments even in there. Cool. Yay. All right. So, first, I have to introduce my sweet friend and business cohort. We like to cross promote stuff. Cinthia is so kind to show up in our Facebook group once a month to give good SEO education. And it's totally free. I don't know any group that's offering that at this point. So I'm very excited about that. Thank you so much, Cinthia. Cinthia today is going to be covering GA4 conversions. So it is really helpful to know which of your marketing is working. And I have been requesting this because I never know how to make these conversions. So I'm really excited. Now, it's super complicated. I know Cinthia will make it sound much easier than it is, which is amazing. But if you have any questions, make sure you put them in the comments while she's live so that she can try to go ahead and answer those for you. And of course, she has an amazing course that I'm sure we're going to be talking about today as well. So without further ado, Cinthia, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Jen. Yeah, I feel like we're kind of like coworkers now. Like we just have our virtual office and
And we
I'm
have
sure
something secret coming up in a couple months.
yes, that too. Yeah. I see us definitely like doing something real in person at some point that will
That'd be
happen.
nice. That would be great.
Yeah, so I'm going to just dive into my presentation. I'm going to introduce myself within the presentation, but I'm really excited. This has been something that a lot of people have been asking me about in the last few months, and it's so important. And it's just something I'm really passionate about. So we're just going to dive in and I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a backstory. So I'm going to be teaching you how to set up, what does that mean, right? How to set up conversions. So the idea is that in Google Analytics, you can customize the tool so that it's tracking exactly what's happening on your site and like what are the things you want people to do. So if they're buying something, if they're signing up for your newsletter, you can track that, but it requires a little bit of customization. So the other kind of intention around this is like maybe you've also had at the bottom of your list, like learn Google Analytics, you know, kind of like floating around and you like never get to it because you just don't know where to start. Maybe you're like, look, like this seems like a nice to have. Like, will this actually make a difference? And I am also in this training speaking to a lot of service providers like Jen, or if you have clients like your web developer or your VA, or you know, even someone like a social media expert. Maybe you're trying to figure out more ways to show the value of your work. And you've heard here and there that something like Google Analytics can help you because you can show your clients, hey, our traffic grew since we started working together. Or, hey, you know, 70% of your traffic is coming from Pinterest. So you can use this as a business owner, but you can also use this for your own clients if you serve clients with marketing services. Because it, of course, our clients hire us, you know, intuitively, they feel good about working with us. But when we can show them the data and the real return on investment, it's just such an easier way to continue to pitch our work and just to give them that case study. And then the last thing too is if you are curious about expanding your services, you will like want to learn the tool to also be able to offer it as a service to your own clients. So those are some things to consider. So what we're going to be covering is a little bit of like a pre-set up, like homework, what you need to have beforehand to set this up. I'm going to give you lots of examples. Then we're going to dive into the step-by-step demos. So I'm actually going to be opening up Google Analytics, showing you exactly where to put things, and we're going to be testing it. Then I have a little secret offer that I launched yesterday, and there's going to be Q&A time. And so hopefully by the end, you'll have something set up in Google Analytics and you'll be able to use it, which is kind of cool. So a little bit about me before we dive in. I'm Cinthia. I'm a mom, a web analytics nerd, and Gilmore Girls obsessed. I've also been rewatching a lot of Sex and the City recently, just like my comfort shows, I guess. I pulled up this photo. It's so funny. I found it a few days ago and I was laughing because this is June. So we're in June. So this was 9 years ago, guys. This was when I was in my corporate job. So I'm over here on the, in case you don't recognize, I'm one of the few women in the shot. So I was working in a corporate agency and I was hired as a web analytics consultant, which at the time I had no idea what that meant. I was like, I literally have no idea what that means, right? And so this was almost 10 years ago. Web analytics isn't what it is today. The industry has changed a lot, but I was just so excited to be able to learn this new thing. And the reason I share this picture and this story is that I don't have a statistics degree. Like I didn't study marketing in university. I have a fine arts degree with some, new media. So we did study coding and stuff like that. But I literally learned this skill within my job with large corporations. And then when I moved into the small business world, I just became so passionate about teaching small businesses to take ownership of their web analytics. And, for many of us, that means Google Analytics, although there are alternative tools that we can talk about. So anybody can learn this. You don't need to be good at numbers. You don't need to understand all parts of the tool. You just need to know enough to be dangerous, which I think is kind of the emblem of owning a small business, is like just enough, So I want to inspire you to learn this, to take ownership of it, to not leave it aside, because I think it's so powerful. And again, if we're using it to offer to our clients, it is something that I don't see many people doing. So it's like such a secret weapon tool that when you say that to a client, they understand like, hey, wow, she's using that, and that can be really cool. So again, the benefit of setting up conversion tracking, which is actually called key events now in Google Analytics 4, is that you can understand not just where people are coming from, where are they landing, but you also are able to understand which of those marketing campaigns are leading to the actions that we want our visitors to take. So whether that's an email sign up, whether that's buying something on our websites, maybe it's downloading one of your opt-ins. So if you're helping with your client with your launches, or if you're doing like paid ads, or even obviously a lot for Pinterest as well, we can start to identify how much of this traffic is leading to an email sign up, to, growing our audience, to selling more. And so that's a very clear story that we can, like a story that we can show our clients that they can understand. And so our websites aren't just like these pretty things we have online. They are important digital assets that we're actively using to grow our businesses and to grow our clients' businesses. All right, and then I just wanted to clarify. So a few months ago, this was called conversions, and now it's called key events in Google Analytics, but it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. It's just a little bit of a linguistic change there. All right, so I've already kind of mentioned some of these, but some things we can set up. So we can track opt-ins, email signups, e-commerce, purchases, form submissions, PDF downloads. If you've got a service, you can set it up. If you have a course, you can set that up. Anything that you have access to. So even if you have like lead pages or something like that, and so then transaction is happening on there, as long as you can access that site or that online property, you can track it inside of Google Analytics. Okay, so this is the prep work. So before we even open the tool, this is what we want to have. And I want to clarify, this isn't the only way to set up key events or conversions, there's actually a lot of different ways. I think this is the easiest way that doesn't require that much setup, right? So what you need to do this is a unique thank you page URL. So you need to have a URL, which I'm going to show you exactly what this looks like in a minute, that goes from your offer to once they sign up, they get redirected to that thank you page. So the idea is that there's only one way they can get there when they purchase, and it's through when they finish the purchase, they get redirected. So a lot of the times if we have like Thrivecart or PayPal, you can add there, like redirect to this page, or even like in my email provider ConvertKit, it will say, I think, yeah, I can like add like a redirect instead of them seeing like form completed success, I can redirect them to a page. So you need that unique URL because that's what we're going to be using to set up our conversion, our key events inside of Google Analytics. So I just wanted to quickly show you an example. So I have a, actually, let me show you the full thing. So I have this keywords for health and wellness guide. And here I've got this foundational checklist for therapists and counselors. So I created this at a time where I was niching right into therapists and counselors. And so you can see here that they can download this. So when they download the checklist and they finish that process, they get redirected to this thank you page, which, you know, just has a quick video. Again, I give them the link to download it. And then there's actually like a form where they can actually, if they want to work with me, they can fill out. So this is my unique thank you page. And you can see here in the URL, it is digitalbloomiq.com/SEO checklist thank you. So I shouldn't have this page anywhere else. It's just for this checklist. So if you have multiple checklists, you need to have multiple thank you pages for each one.
Okay,
Yeah, Jen,
just what I was going to ask.
Yeah, exactly.
So I didn't know if
Yeah,
it's like one general one that you can use,
no.
but it's a different one for each thing that you're
Yeah.
doing page for.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Exactly, because if we want to uniquely track each of those opt-ins, you're going to want to uniquely track each one, right? Because otherwise we won't know where it comes from. And
Yeah.
that's not what we want. So I definitely have a few. I've got a few checklists just over the years. You just start to accumulate opt-ins. So you don't have to track them all. I think it's important to just identify which are the ones that are really important to you. Which are the ones you really are. And I keep tracking this one, even though I don't focus just on therapists. The reason I track it is because this guide is on page 1 of Google and it does really well. So I want to see like what's the conversion on that. And it just helps me see like how many email subscribers I'm getting from this opt-in.
Very
So
cool.
that's why I track it. Okay, so that's what you need. So if you have that, you can pull that up quickly, either if you're watching replay or if you're watching live, if you want to pull it up because you can kind of start doing this. Or if you don't have that, no worries. You'll have access to this replay so you can just build that. So it doesn't have to be a complex thank you page. It just can be a quick thank you. I usually add an image of myself because I just like people to see me at the end. And then just that's it. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to actually dive now into Google Analytics into the demo. So here we have our Google Analytics 4. And so what we're going to do is we're going to shimmy on over to the admin area, which is where we're going to set up our key events. So one thing I want to clarify is that one of the big differentiators with Universal Google Analytics, which FYI is going to be gone July 1st, just so crazy to me. I'm like having a little bit of a moment. It's been around for so long and I'm going to miss it. Anyway, told you guys I'm a nerd. So one of the cool things about Google Analytics 4 is that it automatically tracks a bunch of different interactions, which they call events, automatically out of the gate. So things like, well, page view, obviously, but scrolls, when it's the first visit, someone comes in for the first time. And if they play a video or when they search inside your log, you know how some of us have
Yeah.
like a search bar.
Yeah.
So all these things are automatically tracked, which I think is pretty cool.
Wild.
Which before, oh, and clicks as well. Sorry, I forgot that one. The other ones I'm going to explain in a second, but those are the ones I've set up. So that's a big differentiating factor from Universal, where everything was manually tracked. And the only thing we had was like page views and visits, obviously. So that's why there's this differentiation between events and key events, because events are all these things that we want people to do, but they're more generic, right? And then key events are these like really crucial signups, the purchases. So here you can see I have my audit checklist as an event. I have my email this is like my general email. Like if someone is like, I think I have it at the bottom, like just sign up for the DBIQ newsletter. Then I've got this free module that I'm tracking. It's an opt-in, a purchase. I'm not tracking purchases on my Google Analytics, but if you have an e-commerce site, you might have that set up. And then the therapist checklist, which I just showed you guys.
Perfect.
So the key events, the differentiation is that we think about events as like, you know, interesting things. If someone clicks, if someone scrolls, that means they're interacting. But the key events are really those like clear markers of like, I want someone to get to this. And when they do get to that, I want to know what happened. Like, where did they come from? What was that, you know, journey for them to get there? So in order to set up a key event, we need to first just have it be an event. And so that's what we're going to walk through right now. So here at the top right, there's a button that says create event. And so here you can see the ones that I've set up. And so we're going to click on create. So the first thing we're going to do is just name it. So in this case, I'm just going to call it therapist checklist. Clear, you know, keep it as clear as possible. Just so that you remember what it is. That's my first tip for naming. Okay, and so here we're going to create some, basically there's some logic here. So we're going to tell Google Analytics 4, I want you to watch out for this to trigger this event. So the first thing we're going to want Google Analytics to watch out for is a page view, right? Because this thank you page, which is what we're going to be using to set up the key event, is triggered when someone loads that page. So they go to that, you know, opt-in, they sign up, they get redirected to the thank you page, and that's a page load. And then we get the thank you page. So the first thing here, and this one should this part should automatically show up, but the rule here is event name equals page view. Great. So it's looking for the page view. Here, potentially, I could track a click, right? Just like throwing that up there, but I'm not going to do that in this one. I don't want to confuse you guys. I get enthusiastic and then I start like adding all these little things. Okay. Then we got a second condition. So how are we going to tell Google only look out for this thank you page? We're going to tell it to pay attention to the URL, which we have a unique URL, which is what we have set up. So here we're going to use a variable called page location, which is basically our URL. And we're going to tell it to look out for a version of the URL that contains our thank you page. So I'm going to go ahead and copy the last part of this, and I'm going to explain why in a sec. But so here, what I'm saying to Google Analytics is watch out for the page view, each page view. You're going to watch all the page views. And then when the URL has this in it, I want you to fire this event and you want to like spark that conversion. So why only this part? Because there could be different versions of our URL that we don't want to exclude. So if we have like an HTTPS, which is the secure version of our website, and then a non-secure version, or we have the www and then the non-www. So instead of having to declare all of them and individually, I just say, hey, just watch out, make sure that this part is there. Everything else doesn't matter. Sometimes also URLs come with things at the end. And so we just want to say to Google Analytics, hey, don't worry about the rest, just watch for this part. It has to be in there. So these are my rules. These are the rules that we want to make sure all of these are present. And then I would create it, right? I'm not going to create it because I actually have one already right here, already set up, which is this one. It's the exact same.
And so basically what it's going to do is it's not going to, um, the reason why you have both conditions is because you want the page view, but you also want specifically that page.
Yeah,
Okay.
because otherwise it would fire on every page, and
On
that's
every
not.
page. Yes. Okay. 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 I'm just trying to like follow along.
Yeah, no. It's perfect. Ask all the questions. Um, yeah. Okay, so what's next? So now we've got our rule. We're not done. We need to do a few other things. So once you create the rule, it's going to show up here, and it's very likely that it will not show up here. Why? Because Google actually waits to see if it's being triggered before showing it in this report.
Oh, in the okay.
So yeah, it's weird. Like
No,
this
that's
tool
all
has
right as
these
long as it
things.
works.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I know a lot of people are like, oh my God, I did it
And then they
wrong.
make
How
another
could I
one, and then when
do
they make another one,
Yeah.
that would be
Yeah,
me.
so in general, the tool has like a 24 to 48-hour delay, with the exception of the real time reports, which is what we're going to be using right now to validate if we set it up correctly. So I'm going to share you guys how to do that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open an incognito window, and I'm going to test if this is showing up in the real time report. So if I go back to my Google Analytics reports, and there's a reports section, which, hey, if you don't know about this, you're going to be blown away because it's kind of exciting. It's real-time reports. So it shows you your real-time visitors that are, right now watching. So this is me. This is me. I'm like looking at my own site. So you should see yourself. You might see other people. Right now I don't have that much traffic going on, but it can be kind of cool to see who's looking. Okay, so I have my incognito window. I'm not going to share that with you guys because I figure you guys know how to open an incognito
Yes.
window. You paste in your thank you page. So I just pasted it in, and I'm just refreshing the page a little bit, a few times, just sending a few pings to that
Yeah.
page. And so here, if I scroll down, I see that the thank you page is showing up here.
So cool.
And hello, I see my
So
event.
cool.
Cool, right? So we have one more step because we still haven't set it up as a key event, but this is the step you want to do before that, because if it's not showing up here, that means there's something wrong with the conditioning and the rule logic you set up. So you need to go back, check again, make sure it's like exactly what you have there as a thank you page, but this needs to be set up in order for it to work over here. So I refreshed it about 5 times so you can see that it pings 5 times.
Wild.
And this is an important step because a lot of
So
people
this
just
is
go right to the reports and then they're like, it's not working. It's like, well, did you validate it? No. Okay.
so this
Well, maybe
is
it's not set up correctly.
you were doing this to make sure that the reporting is working properly before we make it a key report.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so now we are going to go back. So we've validated that this is correct. So we're going to go back to our admin. We're going to go down to our events. And there's a few different ways we can do this. So I'm going to show you guys 2 ways. So if you are seeing it here, which I'm seeing it here, I can toggle it actually on. See, it says mark as key event. So now I can toggle it so that it is now considered a key event. If you don't see it here because maybe you don't have data yet, that's totally fine. Copy the name. It has to be exactly with the underscore everything. You're going to go to key events and you're going to do new key event, and you're just going to paste it in there. It's not letting me save because
that's only if it doesn't show up in there for some reason.
yeah, it
If
might not
it
show
shows
up.
up. Okay.
like I said before, it sometimes takes 24 hours. You can wait too. I just like to cater to all anxiety levels, like some people are like, I just want to set it
Yes,
up now. So
exactly.
if you just paste it there and click save, it will start showing up here. It just won't have any data yet, but it will, if you toggle it on the events, it will just show up here once it gets data automatically. So those
Very
are the two
cool.
different ways, just so you guys see the connection. So that is the setup. And I wanted to show you, well, I'm going to pause for a minute, see if there are any questions, but I want to also show you guys what the reporting looks like once you start capturing some data. But I'm going to just pause. I know
We
there's
have
like a lot.
no questions right now. We're good.
Okay. Okay, good.
And I know, and just as a headline for everyone, this will be in the Facebook group, so don't stress out if you're like, okay, whoa. You can actually put it on the side of your screen, open up your Google Analytics on the other side of the screen, and then start putting that information in there. So, sometimes it's hard to like watch and then go do it. I like,
Yeah.
especially with Cynthia stuff, I watch her and I pause her and then I do the stuff. And then I watch her, then I pause her, then I do the stuff so that I
Yeah.
don't get frustrated.
Yeah. And you get better at it. Like honestly, what I do that works really well is when I set anything up, and this is like a pro tip, anything I set up in Google Analytics, I just screenshot it because I forget myself because I'm not setting up key events every day. It's a thing you do once a year, once every 6 months. You don't do it all the time. So it's totally normal to forget. So to document, I'll like screenshot configurations so that I just remember, oh, I set it up like this. And then I can also reference it in the tool, but sometimes you also forget where you set it up. These are things that happen, right? So
Yes.
make it easy on yourself. Like if you have Google Docs or if you have a note, like just Google Analytics, set up, just name it that, and then just put there, I did this on this date, and you can forget about it.
Awesome.
All right, so let's move on to some of the reporting because this is the fun part. So once you start picking up on some data, so depending on how much traffic you have and obviously how much movement you have going on, you'll be able to start seeing the reporting side of this, which is pretty cool. It does take like a few weeks maybe to capture enough data to make some decisions to like, so if you don't see this right away, don't freak out, but maybe put like a reminder on your calendar in like 2 to 3 weeks to check in on it just to make sure everything continues to be tracking correctly. So this is a great report to start with as well. If you find Google Analytics particularly overwhelming, is the acquisition and traffic acquisition. So all this means is like, where is my traffic coming from before I get into Google Analytics? So here I can actually see in the last 28 days, I'm going to open it up to the last 90 days just to have like a little bit more wiggle room. And so here I can see where my traffic came from on my site. So I've got direct, which means someone typing it in the browser. It can also mean a bookmark, like if someone bookmarked your site.
Oh,
So direct is a great thing to have because it means someone who remembers you and comes back again and again. Referral traffic is from other websites. If you've got, partner websites that link back to you. Organic search is SEO. Organic social is social media. I think Pinterest is in there.
yes, it is.
Unassigned just means that there's sometimes Google isn't able to identify what it is. And you can actually, I'm going to show you in a second how to like break these down a little bit more. But sometimes it's also an opportunity to like look and see, okay, how can I improve my tracking on some of it? Like sometimes it's emails because you might not have that
Sometimes they don't
tracking.
play nice, both
Yeah,
platforms
sometimes, yeah.
together. Yeah.
And then organic video is YouTube or Vimeo.
That looks new. I don't remember seeing organic video. But
Yeah, I
again,
think
not
that's a
in here
newer definition.
enough.
Yeah. So here what I can do, well, I can do a few things. So if I just want to focus on one, I can use the search bar to just filter one. So let's say I just want to see organic social. Let's say I'm like, I want to know what's happening on my social media campaigns, like what's working. So here you can see that it will just filter that. And then here, this little plus sign, I can go and go to traffic source. And then I'll put source, session source medium. And
Mhm.
so what this does is it adds another dimension, another column to the report. So I can see,
My
hey, these
favorite
are,
thing to do.
yeah, yeah. So I don't have any Pinterest in here. I'm
I
like,
know my Pinterest is right at the top. That's right.
um,
You need to get
yeah, but so it
Pinterest.
can be interesting. It's normal to have different versions. So, because I think
iPhone. Yep.
the mobile version, I can't remember L might be some other version. It might be like tablet version or something. But it's fine. Um, so okay, so this is the fun part. So I can obviously see all these all these metrics, like the amount of visitors, the sessions, or the visits. But if I scroll all the way down, hello, hello, do we see anything we recognize? Our events and our key events. So now I
Wow.
can actually track back per platform to see, um,
It goes
if I
per
want to,
platform.
yeah, per platform,
Oh,
yeah.
oh my God, I'm so excited right now. Oh my God.
So if I don't think I have any data, but let's say I was doing my therapist checklist, right? So if I just filtered to my therapist checklist, see, I don't have any in this one, but I could potentially see, okay, Instagram brought me this many checklist downloads, Facebook brought me this many checklist downloads. So
Wow.
remember, this is a statistics tool. It's not meant to be 100% accurate, but if we can have like an 80% accuracy rate, that's good enough for us to make decisions off of it. So it can be really helpful to be able to track back and see, okay, so here for my email subscribers, I see that Facebook brought in one of my subscribers in the last few months.
I'm always
So
shocked when I see Facebook like showing
me
those
too.
things.
Me
And
too.
yet
Yeah.
it's a
Everyone
lot.
thinks no
It's
one's on Facebook, but everybody's on Facebook.
I
I'm
know.
totally not convinced of
Don't rule
that
that out.
theory. So here for my audit checklist, I also see Facebook brought in two, which is kind of cool. So yeah, so this report, this is like the tip of the iceberg because there's like so many other things that we can do with this. I'm going to show you guys one more thing. Hopefully it's not too much, but I think you guys can handle it.
Yes, we
Okay,
can.
so I'm going to take out the second dimension and
Okay.
I'm going to switch this one to show source and medium.
Mm. That's what I do normally.
Oh, okay, wait. Yeah, it's gonna the search is gonna change because it's gonna be different.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna leave it like this. That's fine. So obviously my top one is organic. I think this is spam. I heard someone talk about this. There's like a peak of spam in the next 90 days. So if you're seeing this, don't worry about it. Don't go to the site because it's a spam site. So we just don't want to give it more attention than it
Uh,
requires. Um, so unfortunately, so okay, let me comment on that because I brought it up. So Google Analytics automatically filters out spam, but sometimes things slip through. We used to have to, in Universal, actually manually give Google a list. Please exclude this. I used to teach that. Now it's just automatically taken care of, but sometimes things happen and, they have to keep on top of that. It's a lot. So just ignore that. There's ways that I could filter this out, but I'm not going to show that to you guys right now.
Too much.
Okay, so my top one is SEO. But let's say I
Guys,
want to I want to understand like where are people landing when they come from my SEO campaigns. So
I did
here
not
I
know you
can
could
add
do
another
this.
dimension. I can go to page of the screen and I could do landing page.
I had
So
no idea you could do this. I'm
so
so
it's pretty
excited.
cool because now not only can I see, hey, my SEO brought me traffic to this keyword guide that I was sharing with you guys, but it also, I could go back and do some of this key event stuff as well, right? So I could track and see, okay, the homepage seems to have contributed to a few of these key events, which doesn't surprise me. So I think again, the tool, it feels like it's a lot, but when we just understand like this key report and just play here, it can be so powerful, and it can just really, again, help us understand what's happening on our site. It's not this big black hole of nothingness. Like it's like there's things happening here.
And you can see which, like this, I use this to typic, well, I use it, I go in at a different angle. With
Yeah.
GA4, there's sometimes different ways of going to the same information, which is wild. Um,
Yeah.
but I like to use this each month when I'm writing down my analytics. I find my top 5 blog posts and then go pin those because they're popular right now for whatever
Right.
reason, and I want to get them on Pinterest more again,
Exactly.
you know.
Yeah, yeah, no, I think as a service provider, you can use these reports to zoom in on what you're doing for your clients and also potentially pitch them other work. So for you, Jen, absolutely, you want to be able to see all your pins, like which ones are converting the best. I mean, I know you see that on the Pinterest side, but seeing it on the website
Mhm.
side, you know, you can see, okay, they're landing here, they're signing up, like, and so you can give them that information, which otherwise it just feels like a little random, right? So yeah, okay, so I'm going to go back to my presentation.
Yes.
So here I've got my logic that I talked about. This is a reporting I was just showing you guys. So yeah, so we're gonna get into Q&A in a minute, but I just want to like
You are so funny.
I know Google Analytics isn't a pretty tool. I feel like it's been getting better. I feel like it's come a
Yeah,
long way. Like I can see some of the language that they have in there. They're trying to curate it more for business owners as because it used to be, think about it, like it used to be the IT guy
and that
with
was
the
it. Yes.
databases
Yes.
tracking what the site was doing. So of course it is a technical tool, but it doesn't have to be technical in a way that like alienates you, right? So it can be just something that empowers you. So maybe again, like you just don't know where to start. It feels like there's a lot. And there are quite a bit of reports. But the point is, you don't need to know all the reports. The one I showed you today, actually, that one is probably enough for you to get around for a while. And then when you feel like learning another one, you could. The other thing that could feel like a lot is like you just don't have a lot of time to like look at this stuff and to learn it. And you maybe you're wondering is like, is it worth it for me to learn it? Because I know as a business owner, I'm just always looking at like, what am I focusing on next that's going to get me to the next level? And if I do have to learn a skill, I just want to be really sure that the skill is going to help me there. So
Yeah.
I totally get that. And again, the idea is that this isn't about becoming a Google Analytics expert. I don't want that for you guys. I want you to just know enough to be able to be dangerous and to show the clients the value of your work. And then also just to maybe see what's going on in your own site as well.
Well, yeah. And also, I think if you're marketing your business and you have very little time, I feel like these reports are really mandatory because they're going to literally tell you where to spend most of your time. If you
Yeah.
have a lead magnet that's doing gangbusters and growing your email list like crazy, you also want to share it in an email. You want to share it on social media. You want to share it on Pinterest. So it tells you, it's literally telling you what to put more energy and effort into. It's
Yeah.
smart.
Yeah, and again, I don't want this to take away from our intuition, our creativity, like the things we just love to do anyway. But if you can add that extra layer of data, like confidence, then it like gives you that edge, right? That I think a lot of us are just craving that confidence around what's working. I've just found so many people when they start to look at their Google Analytics, like a little light bulb goes off and they like regain so much validation of like, oh, what I'm doing is making a difference. Like I'm
Yes.
actually seeing those results. We need that as small business owners. We're all alone all day. Like I just
I know.
it can feel super lonely. So yeah, so that's why I'm relaunching my course, Web Analytics as a Service. So this was the first ever course I created in my business. It was kind of dormant. I'm bringing it back. So the idea is that this will teach you the basics of web analytics, knowledge as a profitable and strategic skill to show the clients valuable work and grow your business. So I'm going to explain why I'm calling it web analytics instead of Google Analytics in a minute. But this is, yeah, I just feel like this is a crucial skill, and it can help you, just like we said, make smart strategic decisions. And I'm seeing it more for service providers, like I said, VAs, web developers, web designers, Pinterest experts, even like a marketing coach or an OBM or a social media coach. Like, all you guys, you need to be showing the value of your work. You can't wait for clients to just not understand that. I think it's, I mean, in my own business, so we do SEO.
It's kind of
We're
proof
showing
that what you're
we're
doing is
showing our
working.
clients all the time, all the time.
Yeah.
This is what we're doing. This is what's happening. Even when things are going down, we're showing that too. And I'm going to talk about what to do when that happens. But I think it's just part of our job to show that and not hide it or avoid it, right? And I think our clients appreciate that as well.
And it's good for our own business. So if you're not a service provider for someone that you're going to measure something with regards to marketing or whatever, it's still good for you, for your
Absolutely. Yeah,
business.
you can do it for
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So if you could know, like we talked about, like exactly which marketing traffic is getting people to purchase certain services on the site, which marketing campaigns are leading to opt-in downloads, to email signups. Like, I don't know how many times I've heard someone be like, I want to grow my email list, but I don't know how to, I don't know what to do. So this is part of that journey, just being able to identify that. And then also, if you're someone like a web designer who's making changes and optimizing the client website, also to be able to connect, hey, this redesign led to this percentage of growth of traffic or this percentage of growth of sales. So you can use that, and you can have that within your web analytics. And so the other part of this for me is just to be able to be consistent with the work we're doing. So I think having this knowledge just gives you a competitive edge that allows you to be booked out, choose the clients we want to work with, to focus on the areas of our business that really light us up. And it's because you have your data to back it up, right? And so again, in my business, we don't really work with clients less than 6 months. And we usually end up working with clients at least for 5 years. But why? Because we're always showing the results and the value of our work. And again, even if things are plateaued or down, we also share with that, because that's part of what it is. It's not normal to always be growing,
No.
but I think if we can show our clients we're partners and we're with them with all parts of the journey, it can be really helpful. So what you learn in the course is how to set up web analytics. Again, I want to explain in a second why it's not just Google Analytics. How to set up easily and correctly, how to set up the admin area. So the admin area of something like Google Analytics, there's like a lot of nooks and crannies. And so I'm teaching you exactly what's important to set up. You don't need to know everything. Then we're also going to dive into reporting and like what are the key reports and how can you understand them to be able to explain them to your clients, right? Which I think is for a lot of people, like they just don't even know how to explain certain metrics. And so it can feel like, well, if I don't understand it, how am I going to explain that to my client? And then the last module, which I love, which is one of my favorite, is how to actually sell web analytics. So how to integrate it into your current services, how to pitch it, how to bring it up. And so I have individual lessons for each business. So I have one for virtual assistants, I have one for web developers, because each one has its nuance. And I want to give you guys all those details. A few bonuses. Well, this Google Analytics conversion tracking, I did the same training yesterday. And so that's going to be a bonus. So you guys are kind of getting the free bonus there. I have a whole bonus on UTM tracking, which for Pinterest is so important, like being able to have good UTMs. If you do ads, that's also important because you want to be able to track your individual ads to certain key events. I have a bonus what to do when the traffic is going down or plateaued, which I think is maybe a fear for some of us. And then email scripts. So I'm literally giving you like the recipe to just come out of the gate and start pitching this to your clients as part of your service. If you want it to be a standalone service, you can do that as well. But I think for a lot of us, it's just something we want to already just do within what we do and let our clients know. And it's kind of like this value add that clients can understand and appreciate. So the reason why I'm not just covering Google Analytics, is I've had a lot of people not be able to use analytics because of the privacy issues for certain businesses. So I know if you're in Europe, Google Analytics is actually illegal. And if you're a health and wellness business, if you're collecting kind of like some personal information around your patients and stuff like that, you can't use Google Analytics. It's also illegal. So the HIPAA compliance. So I'm actually going to be providing 2 alternative tools that work pretty much exactly the same as Google Analytics, and they're free within this course as well. So I'm going to be teaching the concepts with the setup, and the reporting are going to be very similar because the report's very similar. And then I'm going to be teaching individually on each tool. So the idea is that you're going to choose the tool you want to focus on, and then you're going to just go to the lesson that talks about that tool. You don't need to learn all 3 because that would be a lot. I'm thinking actually maybe doing 1 alternative because 3 feels like a lot. But the idea is if you can't use Google Analytics, hey, here's another tool. It's free. You can use it exactly the same, and you don't need to worry about the privacy issues that Google Analytics has for some of our clients and businesses.
Very.
And of course, I have my live rounds. So I'm all about the live rounds. I just feel like you do more. So there's going to be individual Q&A calls for these different businesses to answer specific questions, because again, I feel like it's very different for a business coach versus a web developer to talk to their clients about Google Analytics. So what does that look like? Now you can attend all of them and I'll be available to really answer everything, but I wanted to like create space for each of these types of businesses. And then of course it's on pre-sale right now, guys. So it's currently $500 off. So I'm going to put it in the, I'm going to put the link there, but the other little bonus is that if you sign up today, so Friday, the 21st, so today, if you sign up by the end of today, you get automatically added to a Telegram mastermind group. So there's no community aspect of this group. So I'm not opening a Facebook group. There's no like, whatever. I sometimes have my Podia set up my community space, but I will have a small mastermind group where I'll be basically answering questions, doing a few extra prompts. Like the idea is that you can get in there and ask me specific things that are relevant to your business. And I'll also be just giving you guys a little bit more kind of incentive around each lesson. So if you are craving like a little bit more of a community aspect, then this is great. So if you sign up by the end of today, you automatically get access to this. After today, I'm going to still have the Telegram group open, but it's going to be an additional price for anybody who wants that.
Sure.
So yeah, so that's what we're doing.
Very
I just put it in
cool.
both the chats, and
I did. I checked both the chats. I think people are absorbing the information.
yes, it's a lot.
um, but this is amazing. So I'm very excited about the UTM tracking because a lot of people talk about that, and sometimes it doesn't work as well. And if you're doing it through GA4 and with the conversions and all the things, I think that is going to be really good for me. And the email scripts to pitch, like that's a huge bonus.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think like the thing is, I've been doing this, like I started my business just with Google Analytics. So I just want, and the other thing is like for a long time, so a business owner could take this course potentially. I actually have another course for business owners, but I actually feel like it is the service provider's job to take ownership of this. It's almost like hiring our accountants and they don't really like look at our bookkeeping or something, or
Or
like
give
hiring
you
someone.
reports of what's going on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I feel like when we hire a financial person, whether it's a bookkeeper or a CTA or whatever, it's like we want them to like, we want to trust them that they're looking at the numbers, right? So it's the same thing, right? As an SEO expert, of course, I'm looking at Google Analytics. Of course, I'm looking at my Search Console. I don't think I would be a good expert if I wasn't. Now, the thing is, a lot of people, it is just like a whole other skill set that requires a whole other mindset. And so that's why it just can feel like a lot. So this course is just meant to create this as a profitable skill, not just like a random thing you're learning on the side. It's a profitable skill that will attract more clients and will keep the clients coming back again and again. So I'm not just teaching Google Analytics, I'm teaching you how to sell it. So that's
Exactly.
the idea.
That is very, very cool. And it would be a nice upsell for me and my clients as well. So
Yes.
this is amazing. Thank you so much. If you are watching this on replay, click on the link. You can always go to Digital Bloom IQ on Instagram and ask Cinthia any question in the DMs. I don't put your question in this video within Facebook because I don't want Cinthia to have to come back over and over and over again for questions. What I think would be best is for you to ask her via that DM in Instagram. And if you have any questions about working with Cinthia, let me know because I highly recommend her. I am in all of her things, the membership, the course, like all of it. So she's incredible, and I'm very, very excited about this. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been insanely good. Thank you so, so much. And as there's no questions, I'm going to let you get back to your day.
Thanks, Jen. Love hanging out with you
I know.
guys. And yes, open to any other follow-up questions. Yeah.
Thanks. All right. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.